your group, share this in your fan page, share this on Twitter. Just do whatever you can to help me spread the word, the good word, as if I'm doing gospel work right here. But just help me show people how to do things better in business and life based on my decades of experience. And that's really what we cover here at Stop Doing Nothing. You know, if offline in the real world, we provide coaching to help people run better businesses, better lives, and all that jazz. I'm not going to go into that much, but online, I just provide the free content based on different lessons I learned. So I'm trying to crank out, a daily or a weekly show for you, preferably live, to just give you some quick tips, some quick things for you to apply in your life to make things better. None of the shows are very long, and everything is very list-based, so you can kind of take notes and revisit it later. And of course, all this content is available later on YouTube, on iTunes, on iHeartRadio, on Spotify, on Alexa, which is pretty darn cool. So, like I said, help us out, share here a little bit, and let's get started with what we're going to talk about today. Sweet. Okay, for you first-timers, I always got to make sure I help out the first-timers. My name is Patrick Almond. I run a digital marketing agency, and my real passion here is Stop Doing Nothing, which is a name I came up with ago when I wanted to really inspire people to be very focused on taking action every single day. So everything that you'll see me talk about here is action-based. Do this, do that, get off your ass, motivation, things like that. I'm a big fan of pushing people to do the right things. I'm not a big fan of people just doing the talk. One of my favorite songs out there is that Elvis song, and actually the remix, a little less conversation, a little more action. And if I could get away with, playing that song and not getting dinged for copyright violations, I would gladly play that as my show opener right there. Yesterday we talked about business and money. And so if you haven't had a chance yet, go back and watch yesterday's show. I just cover some of the things that I have to remember or some of the money mistakes I make when it's come to running my business. And that show is available on Spotify, on YouTube, on iTunes. Did I say on YouTube? Yeah, obviously on the Facebook fan page. So do me a favor, watch that show and leave some comments there if you picked up anything from that show. Today we're going to talk about self-talk. And the reason I thought it would be important to talk about self-talk is because that's the first thing that you do every single morning you wake up. Whether you know it or not, whether you believe it or not, the first thing you do when your eyes open up, no matter what time it is you start talking to yourself. And you're feeding yourself positive things. You're feeding yourself the simple things like get up, put my feet on the ground. You're feeding yourself negative things like, oh goodness, my back hurts, my feet hurts. I can't believe I have to go to that meeting today. Oh, I've got to run 20 errands and I've got 15 meetings today. So from the moment we wake up, we're doing all this self-talk. And today I thought I would talk about, let's say I have a list here. It says 6, maybe 5, maybe 7 of different things I say to myself, simple things I say to myself, mostly within the first 10 to 15 minutes of every single day to remind myself and keep the momentum going. So if you have any particular tips about what you're going to say when it comes to self-talk or the things that you do say to yourself, I would love to hear those. Do me a favor and comment below with those. And forgive me real quick if I'm just kind of doing some things here on the computer to make sure we get the best show experience for people. So just hold on one second. And by the way, for those of you that are listening on iTunes to the podcast later, by all means, please hop over to YouTube and watch the live show. And for those of you that are watching on the live show, if you want to listen on the go, hop over, and get on iTunes and listen on the go. You can take the Stop Doing Nothing podcast. Usually I get up the show a day or two on the podcast. I get that up a day or two after we do the live show. So let's real quick hop on here. Okay, we can't do that. No big deal. We'll do that later. Okay. So the self-talk things I talk to myself about. Does that make sense? Yeah, that makes sense. The self-talk things I talk to myself about every single day, I guess is what I really should be mentioning here. And first of all, let's see. There we go. Okay. The first one is probably, I know this seemed, by the way, some of these may seem really simple, but the first one is something simple, and it's just, hot damn, I'm alive. I try to think about that, or I accidentally do every single day I wake up. I have my alarm set for 4:59 on regular days and 4:30 on days when I want to get to CrossFit at 5:30. So one of the first things I like to do when I wake up is just sit there for a minute and think, hot damn, alive again. Because the brutal reality is there may come a day where I am not alive, where I'm not, where we don't wake up one day. I mean, that's just the reality of it. I like to be a brutally realistic person. And so I just like to remember the very basics when I first wake up, and that's I'm alive. 10 fingers, 10 toes. Eyesight works, mouth works. Don't have any terminal disease in my body that I know of. Room is warm. Blankets on. You know what? Things are not too bad at all to start off with. So I think a lot of the self-talk I give myself in the morning is gratefulness and basically just being happy that I'm in a place where I am. As I kind of was building this list for you, I just noticed that was kind of the trend I have, and that was completely accidental. I've heard before, and I'm somewhat of a fan, even though I don't know it very well, of NLP, Neuro-Linguistic Programming, which is, for some of you, it's how you live and die, and for some of you think it's a hokey trend, and you absolutely cannot stand it. But you know what? At its very basics, NLP is how we communicate with ourselves, how we talk to our nervous system, how we talk to our body, how we talk to our soul. That's the basics of what NLP is. And as I was building this list this morning, I realized that all of this kind of is in line with that. I have no formal training in NLP. I have no idea, probably at the really core, how it works. I just think I'm accidentally doing it. And so I think those of us out there, because I'm sure you do this also, those of us out there who talk to ourselves on a regular basis, we are inadvertently doing NLP or some kind of form of NLP. So just kind of keep that in mind. You may be an NLP expert and you don't even know it. Okay, that was number one. Hot damn, I'm alive. That's one of the first things I say to myself in the morning. And then I go into, again, some of the basics. I really do lay there and I think, I'm in a soft bed and there are 4 walls and a roof over my head. And I think this kind of gets me on the trend of being thankful about things. And I think it's really important because not only am I very grateful I have these things, but it reminds me also that there are people that don't have these things. So I should be damn grateful about the things I do have. You know what? My house is not 7,000 square feet. Heck, right now it's not even 3,000 square feet. But it doesn't really matter. It's a house. It's the walls are up. The air in the room is warm. The power comes on. The simple stuff like I flip a switch and bam, it's magic. Electricity to me is magic. Magic just happens when I hit a particular switch and things happen. I mean, these are just amazing things to me, the basics. The third one then, we kind of get meta a little bit and psychological a little bit. And the third one I wrote down is I have impact on this world and I want more of it. Now, I guess what that means there is I am really kind of stoked and I really kind of am on this mission to make sure that I use the influence and the impact I have to change people's lives for the positive. For those of you that know me, you know I work with kids on a regular basis. So I can actually spend time with kids every single week. My goal with them is to basically get them on the right path. But when it comes to adults, I feel I have some impact there because I've been told I have impact. And once I realize that I am capable of doing something like turning on a camera and talking to you, or creating a blog post, or creating a podcast, or getting in front of an audience, which I absolutely love to do, public speaking. And if you ever find a chance to recommend me, there's a blatant self-plug for that right there. But when I have the chance to use my impact and make things better for other people, it's kind of addicting, or addictive. I'm not quite sure. You grammar people can really correct me on that one. But it's I want more of it. I talked yesterday about money and I said, I'm not addicted to money. I'm addicted to the results money can give me. Same thing when it comes to impact influence. I'm not addicted to crowds cheering me on and high fives and Patrick, you did a great job. I'm addicted to people coming up to me and saying, Patrick, you made a difference in my life. You made my life better. I'm going to change my ways because of something I heard you say, Patrick. Patrick, you may have talked for 3 hours, but you said something in a 30-second period that completely changed my mindset. I'm addicted to that. I'm addicted to making an impact, and I'm addicted to making a difference, and I'm going to do that for as long as is possible. So that's the third one right there. I have impact on this world, and I want more of it. And by the way, feel completely free to write these down and use these yourself. You can call them mantras. You can call them morning chants. You can call them rules of life. I don't care. You are free to take down anything I say and use it as your own. Okay, the fourth one I have, I am damn lucky for the resources I have at my disposal. That's something else I wrote down. And that goes above and beyond things like having a roof over my head, having a blanket on my body, and having, having clothes on my back. That gets to the fact that in 2019, it's very easy for me to do stuff like I'm doing right now with you. It's very easy for me to take a laptop and a microphone and a camera and a light and lights overhead and share a message. I'm lucky to have that stuff. We take it for granted. You use a computer every single day. Your computer probably has a camera on it. But think about what you can do with these resources. This Logitech camera on a pair I have cost me about $99. This is a Logitech C920 camera. I get asked all the time, what kind of setup do I use? $99, light wasn't too expensive, Yeti microphone, MacBook Pro, right here, all right in front of me. I have several resources around this particular office, but these things are not terribly expensive, and I'm lucky to have these. I'm lucky to be able to talk to people and have the impact that I do have. Now, I'm not some Tony Robbins or Barack Obama. I don't have millions of people listening to me, but I don't care. I'm happy if one or two people listen to me. And so I just feel very lucky to be able to do things like broadcast live on Facebook or get in front of an audience, or I do TV work here locally in Oklahoma City. I feel grateful and lucky for every single one of those things. I'm never a guy that feels like he doesn't deserve it. At the same time, I'm not the kind of guy that also feels like, well, I'm entitled and I damn well deserve this. I just